So, how can I surprise you? Let me think. Okay, I have 6 kids, which I already kind of told you about, but beyond that, I have a lot of other interests. I played volleyball for college, believe it or not, at 5'4", I actually could play volleyball. I scrapbook, I owned a store in New Mexico, started it from the ground up, and that was a great, exciting adventure. I'm the baseball mom in the stands on the weekends. I'm the taxi car driver during the week. I'm the daycare provider Monday through Friday for anyone and everyone. And I also like to just work with my hands at any craft. I love to craft, and I have my daughter who is 4 who also likes to craft. So you can find us in the kitchen painting or doing whatever most any day. One of the things that I do is like I said, scrapbook, but that's kind of been put on the back burner just because of kids and the ages of them. They don't really cooperate when I have all the stuff out to do this. So again, that's another reason why I took up baking, because they can be in the kitchen with me getting their hands dirty. Most people would say, how do you find the time to bake, or how do you find the time to do the things you do with 6 kids? Well, let me tell you, most of my days start at 6 in the morning and they end in the morning hours, whether it be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, whatever it takes to get the job done. Thankfully, I don't require a lot of sleep, and having 6 kids, my nights have been broken up for 13 years, so any span of sleep usually gets me through the next day. Okay, where do I get my recipes? Well, I start with the good old Betty Crocker cookbooks. I also use the internet as a great resource if I'm looking for something I can use with hamburger, or something I can use with yellow cake, or whatever. I just look for certain things and then read through the ingredients. If it's something my family will like the way it is, perfect. If it's not, I either take out ingredients, add ingredients. If I want something a little more colorful, I try to, do something like that. I mostly stick to stuff that's sweet, I guess, and so those recipes generally come, like I said, from either a recipe I find on the internet or a family recipe that's been passed down to me from either my mother-in-law or from friends. I like to try any and all things.
How would you rate your skill level? Beginning, average, or expert, and why?
How would I rate my skill level? Well, if you asked my circle of friends, you're an expert, you're great, whatever. However, I think, based on what I've seen and the shows that I've watched, I have a lot to learn. I would consider myself a beginner in most areas, but working towards being advanced, I guess, in other areas as well. So definitely have a lot to learn, but I feel like I have the basic skills to get started. The largest cake I've made is a wedding cake. It was a 4-tier cake. And let me just add that the bride changed the whole cake the day before the wedding. And I flew 1,500 miles to do this cake, and she decided she wanted it to be a different tier level, different taste, everything. I'd already figured out in my mind and on paper how many cups of batter I was going to need. And then she tells me, I want it to serve 170 because I think more people want cake than cheesecake. So the 4 tiers, each tier consisted of 3 layers, chocolate, some were vanilla with lemon filling, all different. But it was elaborate in the sense of size for me. And also I tried some new techniques as far as scrolling on the cake, edible diamonds, different things. So I would say that would probably be the most elaborate cake I made. Second is a shark cake, which it was only 3 tiers, but it had a lot of dimension and detail, and that was a lot of fun to make.
Describe your construction and technical abilities. What's the hardest cake you've designed and made?
What are my construction abilities? Well, all I've used so far is good old dowel rods and cardboard. So I usually find out after the fact that I should have used more support, but I'm always able to fix it and figure out what I need to do. Like I said, the wedding cake was probably the hardest one to get to work, only because of the space that I had, the refrigerator that I had for it. So again, I pretty much just use wood for my support at this point. How do I work under pressure? I wonder if you should ask one of my kids or my husband that question. I think I'm very focused. I am a perfectionist, so it's hard to work under time constraints, but I am organized, detailed, and able to get a job done probably a little borderline OCD, my kids would say, when it comes to getting something done.
What, in your opinion, makes a great cake baker or decorator, and describe that in detail?
My idea of a great baker would be someone who could make any recipe from scratch, could have an idea and do something 10 times better than that, or if someone gave them an idea, they would get the wow factor every time they delivered it, and that's my goal. I think a great baker has to be one who's creative and loves what they do.
What makes someone a bad baker or decorator?
What makes someone a bad baker? I don't know if I would ever tell anyone they're bad bakers. I've never thought of that. I'm generally a positive person, but I would say someone who doesn't have an eye for something, or maybe any natural ability or raw talent, someone who's trying to do it but doesn't really have what it takes. I've seen people, oh, I can copy that, or I can make that, and then they do it and they don't have a clue the effort and the time and the planning and everything that goes into it. So I would say someone that's not good with time or good with organizing and putting something together would probably not have very much luck in that field. How would I handle a quick fire challenge? I think I'm determined and strong-willed enough where I would take it on and go for it. I handle stress in different ways. One of the ways I handle stress is I talk fast, as you can tell. Also, I start doubting myself if I'm under a lot of pressure. Like, is it good enough? Is it good enough? But I will see it to completion. And in a group setting, like again, I will be the hands. I will do whatever anyone needs to do. If I have to take the lead, I will. But generally, I'm just the one who is the hands-on, let's get it done and done right.